Welcome, ladies. We are so glad that you are here. First and foremost, I want to say that this is not going to be one of those sessions where we load you up with more things that you must do or give you new tactics to follow. Today is going to be about clearing space and starting to rewrite the rules so that your business finally works for you. So, we're going to share with you three key shifts that have helped Michelle and I go from being totally overwhelmed and burnt out to feeling more at ease, more at peace, and yes, more profitable, but being genuinely excited again about our business. And we're going to show you how tools like AI, yes, AI can help you lighten the load, not add to it, especially when you're the one now writing your own playbook. So, as our gift to you for attending, we do have a workbook that is designed to guide you through this whole process. So, you'll be getting that later. So, again, we're Pam and Michelle, and together we make up the Digital Collective. And between us, have we not ridden the emotional roller coaster in this
Amen,
business?
sister.
Yes, we have. So, we've seen the highs, we've been on top, but we've also seen the lows. And we've spent a lot of time in the messy middle of building a business, this business, all while juggling, right? Everybody has a never ending to do list. So while juggling the to do list, the family schedule, right? But also the pressure to follow every expert rule out there. But here's what I want you to know: you don't need to follow someone else's path to find your own success. So today, we invite you to sit back, take a deep breath, let that stress leave you for just a moment, and I want you to press pause for the next 45 minutes. We're going to start rewriting rules that fit your life, your values, and your own version of success.
Right. Have you ever thought there has to be a different way? Well, if you have, you are in the right room because you're not crazy and you're not lazy and you're not behind everybody else. You're just done with the outdated rules that were never designed for women like you. Women who want success and their sanity, women who want purpose with what they're doing. They also want their peace. This is where we start rewriting your business that honors your life. So, hi, I'm Michelle, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story and how I got here, my story of reinvention. So, before I ever fully stepped into the online business world, I was a paralegal for over 20 years. I'm also an executive assistant to a small local corporation. So, I'm the girl who keeps everything on track, structured, organized, detail obsessed. Pam can tell you that. But alongside that, I have also been an entrepreneur. I've been building businesses on the side for over 15 years. I started building businesses before Instagram was a thing, before personal brands was a buzzword. And I came to it from a place of necessity simply because I was diagnosed with chronic illness 15 years ago. And it just took me out of the traditional workspace. But I still needed to earn income. So I've learned along the way. About 8 years ago, I entered the network marketing space. I loved the community of network marketing. So much personal growth that you get from there, and just the vision of building something on my terms. But I quickly found out I didn't really know what my terms were. Like, I didn't know what that meant, what everybody kept saying. So I did what so many of us do when we start, whether network marketing or you're starting whatever business. I just started following everyone else's formulas. I did all the checklist. I had all the experts. I bought all the courses, and boy, have we bought some doozies along the way. I've tried it all. Now, let me ask you this. Raise your hand if you've ever made that beautiful color coded content calendar. And then 3 days later, you tossed it in the drawer with all the ones from previous years because you just never got into the rhythm of doing it someone else's way. So then came the one move that I thought was going to change everything for me. I joined a wellness company, new to me wellness company, and it had an incredibly strong coaching program. It had amazing systems, structure, tools, success stories out the wazoo. But in real life, it felt so heavy to me when I got in it. I dreaded getting on Zooms. My chest would tighten before every team call. I would cringe when a text message would come across for fear it was my coach asking me something. It wasn't that it was just draining, it was physically and mentally exhausting for me. And that's when I did something that I thought was kind of brilliant. And some people may think ridiculous, but I still think it's pretty cool. I opened up Chat GPT and I asked it to be my life coach. And I unloaded and vented this long paragraph about everything that was going on in my life. And I was shocked with what ChatGPT handed me back. And I'm going to read it so I don't miss it because it was a simple, simple phrase. This business doesn't fit you because it wasn't designed for you. So stop tweaking your life to fit the rules and start rewriting the rules to fit your life. That was my aha moment. That was my rewrite moment. The day I decided my piece was non negotiable from that point forward, that I could run a successful business without sacrificing my health and my faith and my freedom. And that's why we have invited you here today. We want to help you rewrite your moment and finally build a business that feels like home, a business that can be sustainable, flexible, and aligned with your life, not someone else's version of success.
Does anything Michelle said that she said resonate with you? Like, I found myself shaking my head, right? I'm sure you could all relate to that in some way. So Michelle and I have some parallels where I was a paralegal for many years in corporate America. And I did get burnt out on that. And I stepped out of corporate and I started my own company where I did contractually, I was a paralegal to like sole practitioners. And then I had an accounting background. So I also did finances for small businesses. That being said, I helped many of my local small businesses start up, anything from chiropractors to acupuncturists to hairstylists to a school. And so I helped them start businesses from the ground up, and I was really good at it. And they're still in business today, right? But let me take you back about 6 or 7 years ago when I joined my first network marketing company. So that was about 6 months before I fully said peace out to corporate America. Not because I had a business plan when I joined that network marketing company, but because I loved the products and I desperately needed the products. I was like in menopause, like full swing, right? Anybody else agree? Yeah, I see. Yes, exactly. So at first, it was super simple, right? It was casual. I was just kind of sharing what I was doing. I was sharing what I had found that helped me sleep finally, because I was a chronic insomniac, chronic. And it also helped me not to be so snarky, if I'm being honest. But here's what I started to see when I started to pay attention to the business and the people around me. I saw that they were growing their business. They were earning trips. They were stacking up the wins in the ranks. And I thought, wait a minute, I've crushed it in the workforce. I've had my own very successful business. I've led teams. I've managed teams of women of about 30. If I can lead 30 women, right, I could do anything, right? That was my superpower, right? If they can do this, I absolutely can. I had the background, I had the drive. Like Michelle said, I had the notebooks, I had the planners. I was totally set up for success and I was ready for it. And for a while, everything was great. I was checking off more boxes. I ranked up, recognized, walked across stage. It was great until it wasn't. I was really good at that corporate game. And I think a lot of you can relate to this because it's safe. It's very predictable, right? It's familiar. You don't have a lot of skin in the game. You have a lot of time in the game, but you don't have a lot of skin in the game. But eventually, I realized, not kind of, I did realize that that version of success, it just didn't feel like mine anymore. That was my past. So today, I'm at a different stage in my life, a different season of life, one that I am 100% committed to, not hustling until I burn out again. So then came this business, the business Michelle and I created, the digital collective, the one that I chose, not the network marketing one, but the one that I poured time, money, in my heart into. The one that until about 9 months ago, I hit that wall again. And I had to have a little come to Jesus with myself because it didn't just feel messy. In actuality, it was messy. I wasn't having any shiny milestones, if you will. There was no brag-worthy numbers, no proof that all the effort was actually building something that was going to be sustainable. I was doing everything that they said to do. I was taking the courses from the upper echelon of coaches. I was following the blueprint. I was copying their content formulas that were proven, but I was still feeling stuck on that hamster wheel while everyone else seemed to be having great success in soaring. And I'm not going to lie to you. I literally started to question, and Michelle and I had this conversation. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe this isn't my path. But then I don't know the point in time, but something clicked in me. I gave myself permission to stop chasing someone else's version of success. I stopped trying to wedge my life into their checklist, into the way they do life. And then I started to simplify, like really simplify, dumbing it down in the best way possible. I also started to protect my energy, like literally like my sanity depended on it, because at that point it did. I was in a season. I also learned that I needed to trust that the small, messy, consistent action actually will get you further than any perfect laid out plan could ever do. And yes, even though I had been using tech for years, I finally let tech work in a way that I think at the end of the day, it was intended to lighten my load instead of adding to it. But here's where the real breakthrough came in. When I realized that the problem wasn't me, what I was doing and it wasn't working for me, it wasn't me. It was the model that I was following. That constant, just be more consistent advice, the hustle culture that was marked, as mentorship, the endless steps that really don't factor in your life or where I was mentally and what I actually had time for. None of that was built for me. And my friend, I would strongly guess that it wasn't built for you either. So I stopped forcing it and I started to rewrite those rules. Let me ask you something. And I want you to drop a 1 in the chat if you can relate, if this resonates with you. Have you ever felt like you were doing everything right and still wondering why isn't it working for me? You are not the problem. I promise you. The advice you were given, that is outdated. You've outgrown the lists, the formulas, the blueprints, the proven paths that were never designed for the kind of life or business that you live or actually want. So before we dive into what actually works, let's acknowledge something for just a moment. Most of the advice that you've been following, it wasn't built for women like you, for women like us. In the moment you realize that you don't have to follow it anymore, that's when those shifts will start to happen. So if you need permission, I'm giving it to you now. Stop forcing it. Stop forcing it and start rewriting the rules. Your rules, your way.
Wow. You can see that Pam and I have a lot in common and how this entire passion project for us has come to fruition. So I'm going to move on. I want to talk to you for a minute about all this traditional advice that both of us have experienced and we have failed with. And I'm going to give you a fresh perspective on it. So let's talk about noise. Noise in the online space. There is so much of it. It is packed with loud voices and it is shouting the same tired advice that we have all heard for years. Post more, hustle harder, niche down until you literally disappear and show up every single day, or you're just going to get left behind. Guys, that's a factory model, and most of it's built on burnout. But here's the kicker, that advice, it was never built for women like us, not for women navigating midlife reinvention, not for women who are caring for others while also trying to carve out something for yourself. Definitely not for those of us like me who live in bodies that require extra care, flexibility, intentional rest. So if you've been following all the right steps and it still feels heavy, that's not because you're doing it wrong. It's because you've been handed a system that doesn't fit the reality of your life. A system that rewards 24/7 performance, not peace, not purpose, and definitely not sustainability. So here's the truth. We're rewriting. You don't need to hustle harder. You don't need to build truer. And that starts with three things most of the online space simply ignores: simplicity, self trust, and smarter tools. Simplicity over strategy stacking, self trust over constantly second guessing yourself, and smarter tools like AI and automation. It's going to give you your time back instead of demanding more from you. What we're here to show you today is how to rewrite the rules in a way that finally fits you. This is your season. You want your values in the forefront. You want to protect your energy. This is your life that you're building. Because, yes, you can be strategic and you can be spacious. You can be successful and you can be centered. And you are allowed, encouraged even, to define success in a way that honors your humanity, not just your hustle. We are going to talk about 3 shifts today that can help you start your rewriting your business.
Absolutely. I love that. And before we go into the shifts, I want you to drop rewrite in the comments if you're ready to ditch the old way, those old habits, and rewrite the way you do business from this day forward. Drop rewrite. Yeah, look, everybody's dropping rewrite. We were there too. We're still there. We're still rewriting, right? That doesn't end. Let's get into the shifts, right? The first one, brand you. Your name is your brand. Your story is your magnet. And if we're being honest with each other, it's so easy to hide behind a product, right? Behind a company name or a program that you've created. It's really safe to say, here's what I do versus here's who I am. Because when we say, here's who I am, we're opening ourselves up and being a little bit more vulnerable than maybe we're comfortable with. But here's what I want to share. This was a huge aha moment that changed everything for Michelle and I, because we both strongly feel that if you're hiding behind something, whether that's a product or a company, people can't find you, nor can they connect with you. We spend so much time trying to build a brand, right? When the real work about becoming visible is about becoming visible to ourselves first. You can't show up until you are truly visible to yourself. I remember I used to be at the beginning of this, I used to be obsessed with like, what are our colors? What is our logo? Right? What are our fonts going to be? But the moment that we got clear on the values in the voice, in the moment you get clear on who you really are, that's when the content will start connecting. Visibility isn't just about being seen by others. It's about recognizing your own power first, right? That's your superpower. It's also self-trust, right? Trust yourself. Okay, I want you to write this down. I want you to make a note of this and I want you to remember it. They are not buying your offer. Let's be honest. They may need it, but they're not buying your offer. They're buying your alignment. They are not drawn or magnetized to your niche. They are drawn to your knowing and your honest journey, your clarity, your energy, your vibe, right? You are the brand. You are the reason that they buy, the reason that they stay, and the reason that they start to trust you and keep coming back to you. It's not your product that they trust, I promise you. It's not. So if you're wondering, like, why hasn't anything before clicked? It's not because you're not doing enough, because I know that you are. It's because you haven't been told that you are enough. Or maybe you have been told that, right? But chances are you didn't believe it. But I want you to believe it right now, not for us, but for you. That you are enough exactly as you are, but you are enough right now in this season of life that you're in. Okay. So this is where we are going to rewrite the rule that says you got to do it like everybody else. You got to be professional first. No, be personal first. That's what people are actually going to remember. Okay. So how do we start showing up in that kind of alignment or with that type of authenticity? We're going to break it down with your brand playbook, the power of three. So we're going to simplify this. I want you to think of three brand words. Now, what is that? What do people feel the moment that they start scrolling your social media? What do they feel? What do they feel when they hear you speak? Do they feel calm, empowered? Do they feel chaotic? What do they feel? And then three core values. This is where you are going to create your brand integrity. Okay. What are you unwilling to compromise on? Where do you draw the line? What are your three core values? Now, what are three content pillars? What lights you up, right? That you can talk about it forever and talk about it for free. But I also want you to think about what can you talk about that your audience will lean in and connect with you. Okay, so here's a mini action that we're going to do. We're going to do a few of these. The first one is I want you to write down three words that you want your brand to feel like, not look like, feel like. And with those words, don't write down what you think it should be. I want you to write down words like what feels like you on your very best day. What does that feel like? So these words, the way I like to look at it is it's kind of a heart check, if you will, right? These are your filter. If your words are calm, bold, clear, then creating a very loud and chaotic social media feed is not going to fit. Maybe things like grounded, confident message, those would be more in your lane. Those would be your filter. This is how we start building a brand that is not just seen, but it's going to be felt and remembered.
Wow. That's just a lot to unpack right there. And I'm going to talk about a second shift that we need to make in business when you're going to make business your own. So, energy is something that we all deal with at some level. So, if you're a midlife woman, you've probably felt a reduction in your energy. If you have chronic issues like me, you might feel a reduction in your energy. If you're on here and you're a stay-at-home mom, you definitely have a reduction in energy, just chasing around those rugrats. So the last thing that you need is your business also sucking your energy. So let's talk about how you can rewrite your systems to protect your energy. Let's talk about consistency. That's a word that is wildly misunderstood, but it is said and taught online all the time. You've probably heard that being consistent means showing up every single day, posting at peak times, always being on and never missing the beat. Reels or bust, right? Reels are all the rage. Hustle, 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 or you're going to disappear. But let's be honest. True consistency isn't about being constantly available. It's about being strategically present in a way that actually works for your real life. In your real life, it's not running a flawless content calendar. You might still be running school pickups for your kids, or you may be on here as a grandparent who also runs school pickups for your kids. You might still be working a full-time job that you're trying to create a secondary job around. You might be a caregiver for elderly parents. You might have unexpected health that can take you out for a day, emotional curveballs. And let's be honest, sometimes just the mental exhaustion of being needed by everyone all the time. Drop energy in the comments if any of that or your own reason resonated with you. So, this is where systems come in. And no, I do not mean creating a 27-step funnel or creating fancy automations that would truly require a tech degree. A system in our world is going to be anything that gives you breathing room. Remember, we are protecting your energy. It can be structure that protects your space. It can be support for your future self. It's knowing your business will not fall apart when life does throw you a curveball. This is where tools, especially things like AI, can become your quiet little business sidekick. Let me give you a couple of examples of that. So imagine once a week you sit down and you spend an hour and you map out all of your content. You're using an AI assistant that's now helping you brainstorm, sparking your creativity, writing your post, and even scheduling your post. Or maybe you set up a simple email series that builds connection with your new customers, and it all is automated while you can rest, recover, and recharge. Or what about a 5-minute morning ritual? Whether it's prayer, journaling, just sitting still, or breathing before your day begins, that counts as a system because it's counting as support and it's another way that you're protecting your energy. Pam and I talk and teach a lot about the power of three in our coaching. And so we wanted to bring the power of three into this webinar in each of these systems that we're talking about. So for protecting your energy and in systems, we have 3 systems that we want you to focus on, just 3. One system is going to be for marketing. So that's going to be things like batching your weekly post or using AI to generate your captions. One system will be for self-care. That's going to be your rituals, your boundaries that protect your energy and honor your body. And then a system for delivery. That is that repeatable onboarding process for your new customers. Putting those 3 things in place will be a game changer for your business and protecting your energy. Because when you protect your energy, you're protecting your creativity, your clarity, your boundaries, and most importantly, your joy. Because we all need joy, right? Drop joy in the comments if you need some more joy in your life.
Yeah.
So here's a little action step for protecting your energy. What is one system, even a simple one, that you can build or clean up this week that would make your business feel a little lighter? Just start there. It doesn't have to be big. It just needs to be something that's going to work for you and help protect your energy as you're building this business so you can continue on with what is important in your life. Now, The final shift we're going to talk about today is rewriting what success means to you. I want you to redefine success for you and your business. Let's be honest for just a minute. We've had a lot of honesty today. Here's one more. The version of success that we were handed, that you were handed, it was never written for you in mind. It was built around other people's metrics. More money, bigger numbers, constant visibility, titles, ranks, and recognition. And we are not here saying that those things are bad. Those things are all needed if you're going to build in business. But no one ever asked, does this version of success actually feel good? Does it feel good in your body? Does it feel good when you're in your home with your family? How about just deep down in your soul? Does that version of success, with those being the primary focus of success, actually feel good? So for women rewriting their lives, whether you're midlife, raising a family, navigating a body that needs more care, or juggling it all with the day job, that traditional definition, it does not fit anymore. And that's why it's time for you to rewrite it. We want you to throw out the idea that success is a one size fits all. And we want you to define your success on your terms, because your new version, it's not going to be louder. It's going to be more aligned. It's not going to be performative. It's going to be personal to you. It's not going to be about chasing success. It's going to be about choosing success. Just like Pam and I chose what we are doing now, you're going to choose your success. And here's the surprising thing. When you build a business from this rewritten definition of success, one that's going to be rooted in clarity instead of comparison, you will become more profitable, not less, because people trust what's real. They are drawn to grounded, aligned women who show up as themselves. So, as promised, here's a power of 3 for you. These are 3 prompts that can help you start your rewrite. Number 1, what am I craving more of right now in my business or in my life? What boundaries would protect that craving that you have? And what's one small step you can take today that will honor that? And yes, you can, and I encourage you to use ChatGPT to help with this. Let it coach you through unpacking your values, maybe writing affirmations, or even just clarifying your vision. It's not cheating to use ChatGPT or any AI program of your choosing. It's co-creating with the tool that's going to help you hear your own voice more clearly. Here's your mini action step to go with this. I want you to write one sentence that defines your rewritten success story. Here's your sentence. Success for me looks and feels like blank. Write it, fill in the blank, frame it, keep it visible, and let it guide your decisions. When you feel stuck, look up at that word, look up at that sentence again, and what you put in the blank. Because when you rewrite the rules, you stop performing someone else's dream and you start living your own dream. Now, we've mentioned AI a few times through here, and I know that we only said we had 3 shifts, but here we go. We're going to throw you your first bonus, and Pam's going to talk about how to leverage AI more in your work.
Yeah, so here's your bonus shift. How to leverage AI to work smarter, not harder, right? So let's talk about something that you may have felt this week, or you might have felt it like today. You feel exhausted, right? Mentally exhausted, not because you're lazy and you just want to, sit around like a sloth, but because you're doing everything manually and you're doing everything to perfection. And most importantly, you're doing it by yourself. So somewhere along the way, because I know I was told this, you were told that if it's not perfect, don't do it. If you're going to do it right, right? that if it doesn't take hours, that if you're not stressed about it, if you're not overthinking it, then it doesn't count. Well, we're going to rewrite that rule today. So AI, you've heard this, I'm sure at this point, is not here to take your place. And it's not, but it is here to stay, right? It's also here to take the pressure off so that you are able maybe to close some of those mental tabs, to stop staring at a blank screen, and maybe finally jump off the endless content creation hamster wheel, right? And I promise you, because I thought I needed more discipline. No, you don't need more discipline. You need a few less barriers that are between your ideas and your execution. And that is where AI can help. It can relieve that burden. So we use AI every single day for a magnitude of things, but here's a few things that we do use it for. And one is drafting content. When you're just having a creative block, right? When that creativity is like tapped out, it is a great creativity tool. We also use it to polish our messaging that may feel like it's there, but there's something missing. It needs that final tweak. Use it to give life to your ideas. Maybe you have ideas that you don't know where to begin to bring to fruition. Maybe you haven't had time to organize them, or you need to give them an outline or know what the proper flow is. Bring those ideas to life. Stop sitting on them. And you can also take a powerful social media post, say, that you have done that performed really well, and bring it back to life. And then you could also simply rewrite it in a few different ways that are intentional, that are now brand aligned pieces of content that you created with ease without having to recreate that wheel every single time. And like Michelle said, it's not cheating, right? It's not cheating. It's not about using your knowledge or your brain, right? It's about choosing your sanity. So think of AI, like Michelle said, as a digital sidekick. It's like your VA. It's going to be trained by you. It can speak in your voice, but it can also run behind the scenes so that you then can do those things that you are really passionate about with your family, right? You can live life and not be in front of your screen 8 hours a day. So if you feel like you've been stuck in that perfectionism mode, or in that perfectionism makes you procrastinate, then maybe you might be at that burnout stage. Let this be your permission slip to work smarter, right? Simple is better, because doing it the hard way, I'm sorry, friends, but it's no longer noble if it's burning you out. It's totally unnecessary, and you have other options and other tools available. Okay? So here's your final mini action. So I want you to think about one task that needs to get done, but you dread it, or you procrastinate it about the most. Maybe it's emails, maybe it's creating social media content or captions or calls to action. Maybe it's that course outline. Maybe it's even planning what's for dinner or that next workout to get you out of the funk. Use AI to tackle that this week. Not because you can't do it the other way, the hard way. You can, but let's not do it the hard way. Let's bring some simplicity and some ease into your day. This is how we start building a business and a life that actually honors your time, your energy, but that is sustainable. Sustainability. And that's how you rewrite the rules.
Okay, everyone. Let's just take a breath for a moment, because I know we have thrown a lot at you, and I'm going to try to pull this all together for you. So here's our little recap. Because if you're sitting here thinking, this all sounds amazing, but where the heck do I start? You are not alone. Here's the good news about rewriting your business. You don't have to burn it down. You don't have to start from scratch, and you don't need more noise. You just need a new way. This isn't about doing more than you're already doing. It's just about doing it differently in a way that finally fits your actual life. So let's remember the 3 shifts that can change everything for you. Shift number 1, own your brand. Reconnect with who you are, not what the industry or the company says you should be. Protect your energy. Create those flexible, life-giving systems, and let tools like AI support you behind the scenes. Redefine success. Rewrite it on your terms so your business finally aligns with your values, your pace, and most importantly, your peace. What we've shared today isn't just a plug and play formula. It's a new, fresh approach in how you do business, built on simplicity, supported by systems, and grounded in self-trust. It's going to be powered by smarter tools that's going to give you your time and your sanity back. You can really build a business that feels just as good as it looks. You just need the right shifts and some support to rewrite it your way. So let's see what that can look like for you.
Yeah. I think of things of like what was and what can be, right? So here's a few now and afters with the Her Way, Her Business transformation. So I want you to think of this, and I'm going to speak now and then after. So what if you could go from staring at a blank screen, right, unsure of what to post, to creating content with ease, clarity, and confidence? What if? How would that feel? What if you could stop comparing yourself to others and doubting your own worth, to being rooted in your brand, owning your story and your values? What if you could stop doing it all by yourself, because that's what we were taught, right? To delegating, to using AI systems and strategies without feeling guilty? And what if you could stop playing by those outdated rules that certainly aren't fitting your life and rewrite the rules to build success on your terms? What if? What would that look like? What would that feel like to you? So I want to invite you to Her Business, Her Way, where you're going to ditch the rules and create your own success story with confidence. Like Michelle mentioned, like if today felt like a breath of fresh air and you felt like finally somebody gets what I've been feeling, what I've been going through, can you imagine what 6 weeks of real clarity in coaching and confidence could unlock for you? Can you imagine? Like Her Business, Her Way is going to be a 6-week live experience for women like you who are ready to stop chasing someone else's version of success and start building a business that actually fits your life, your family, your energy, your values, your time, right? This is not going to be another blueprint to follow that you'll soon outgrow. This is going to be where you finally rewrite the rules, your rules, and build a business that feels like home. It feels like you. Okay? Here's what is inside of Her Business, Her Way. Going to build a personal brand that feels effortless. It's going to feel authentic, and there is going to be no question in your mind or anyone else's that it's you. You're going to design a simple digital system with AI support, yes, ma'am, that actually saves you time. We're going to create offers, content, and a marketing strategy that actually feels aligned with you and not forced. And most importantly, we are going to protect your peace. You are going to protect your peace without sacrificing your ambition, your goals, or income. Now, what will you walk away with? You're going to walk away with total clarity on what you offer, who it's for, and why it matters to both of you. You're going to walk away with systems that run while you're out living your best life and not glued to the screen. You're going to walk away with confidence to show up, to stand out, and lead in your space without second guessing yourself. And you're also going to walk away with a momentum that feels sustainable, not a soul sucking hustle, but momentum that feels sustainable. So if your heart, if your gut is saying, this is exactly what I've been waiting for, I want you to trust that feeling, because we all know that if nothing changes, nothing changes. The old way is not your way. Okay. So this is your moment, right? Draw that line in the sand and say, I am ready to do business my way. We would be honored to walk beside you while you do that.
Who is excited about an opportunity to rewrite your business your way, her business, her way?
Oh, everybody, yes. I see some fire emojis in the comments.
There you go. So this is going to be our founders course. It's going to be the very first live round that we're going to offer of Her Business, Her Way. You're not just joining a program, you're helping shape it. And that means more access, more support, and a front row seat to everything that we're going to build together. This is what every founding member is going to receive. 6 weekly live trainings, 6 weekly huddles, simple tools and AI-powered prompts, a founders community for support and connection, lifetime access to all the course materials and future updates, and your founders only pricing will be locked in forever. And you can retake this as many times as you want if you want to update and tweak along the way, and it will not cost you anything to do that. You're always free to join us. Now, to add a little more excitement, because Pam and I like to offer excitement. Before we officially invite you in, I want to let you in on something that's really special. When we open the doors to Her Business, Her Way, we're going to do some bonuses for the first 8 founding women who say yes to us. And they're going to get some seriously elevated extras. Think VIP level support. So let's see what that's going to look like. For the first 8 women who enroll, in addition to what we've already talked about, you're going to get a 1 individual coaching session with Pam and I after the course ends. We're going to have quarterly mastermind meetings. We're going to have early access to future courses with special pricing on those courses for you. You will get the first look at products before we release them to the general product. We will do a one-on-one social media audit with you and some strategy tweaks. And the first 8 women can join our affiliate program with a commission rate of 50% on anything that you sell for us. And that includes this course, Her Business, Her Way. So let's look at the value of our course. As we said, you're going to have 6 weeks of live coaching sessions, 6 weekly huddles, a done-for-you content strategy and system, a custom social media content planner, a personal brand and social media audit, and target audience clarity tools. So those coaching sessions, it's going to be real-time support and personalized guidance from us to help you gain clarity, take action, and grow with confidence. The huddles show up exactly as you are. It's casual office hours. It's going to be a day that you can come in and you can check in, you can check on your progress. You can ask questions, maybe if you, to help you get unstuck, and just keep your momentum going into your next live coaching session. The content strategies, no more spinning your wheels. You're going to get proven plug and play frameworks plus AI prompts to help you with it, to make your content easier, faster, and more aligned. We're going to organize your content visually, help you plan ahead and repurpose with ease using the fully built editable planner. Who needs that, right? Be able to manage your social media content. It's going to be created specifically for this program and gifted to you. We're going to help you refine your bio, message, and first impressions so your online presence truly reflects who you are and attracts the right people. And finally, we're going to help you get clear on who you are speaking to. Who is your target audience? What do they need? And how can you naturally connect with them? No ideal client guessing games anymore. So the total tangible value for everything is none 97. But because you are a founding member on our founders run of this course, we're going to drop that price for you to 197. Remember, this isn't about doing more. It's about doing the right things in a way that feels aligned, clear, and doable. We want you to build your business using your voice and build it your way.
Yeah, that's a massive value for only $197. You're going to walk away with a business that is sustainable for sure. So before we get started, before we go live, I want you to make note of the website address on the screen, www.aidigitalcollective.com. That's our website. So you will also be looking for an email that's going to be coming to you after this webinar that will have a clickable link in it, and you'll have all of that information. But before we wrap up, I know there's some questions. So if you'll drop those questions in the comments, we will answer those questions. Now, I'm going to kick it off because I got this question yesterday. How is your course any different from any other course I've taken? Okay. And it's a valid question, right? Because there's courses
Absolutely.
that are a dime a dozen, right? Yeah, exactly. So if you've taken other courses and you've kind of walked away feeling even more overwhelmed, right? Because there's, oh my gosh, there's so much to do. Like, how am I going to keep up? So you're so overwhelmed that you still have no clarity. Well, that's reason number one. Okay. Most programs are going to give you a blueprint, a step-by-step plan, or, of something that may work. It may work well for the person who created it, but it doesn't fit into your life. And it's not a priority for you. It was a priority for them. So you still end up spinning, comparing, and wondering why it's still not clicking for you. So that's where her business, her way is different. Okay. We're not going to hand you a blueprint or more formulas. We're giving you tools and framework to support or to build something that's designed around you, where you are in this season, your strengths, your capacity, again, your values and goals, right? This is not a one size fit all experience. Okay. We're going to help you define your version of success, your message, get your rhythm, find your rhythm in your way of doing business without the burnout. Okay. So I really feel that's the kind of transformation that actually is going to stick. It's going to last. That's what's going to be sustainable. That makes us different. Okay. I see a question about not being, what if I can't attend all live sessions? No biggie, right? It's life happens, right? So there will be replays, again, lifetime access, as Michelle mentioned. You work this around your schedule. I know life happens, right? We do encourage you to show up live, of course, but life happens. So you are encouraged to build a business around your terms, right? That's why we've made this flexible. So you're able to catch and watch the replays when it works for you. So if you happen to miss, you're not going to fall behind, right? Don't feel the pressure for that. This is about creating momentum at your pace. Again, we encourage you to attend live, but it's not another thing that we want you to stress about if you can't make it. Okay.
Right. Yeah. And remember too that we will have a community. So if you're not there live to ask your questions, when you get your replay and you watch it, just drop questions in the community. We're still there for you to help you with all of the steps in this.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I see another question. We talked earlier about putting ourselves out there confidently. I don't feel confident putting myself out there. Well, most of us didn't.
Neither do I.
Most of us still don't, right? So welcome to the club. But that does come up quite often, right? So putting ourselves out there, especially when it is your business, like you're putting yourself out there, like we talked about before, and not standing behind, right? Feeling safe and secure behind a product or a company, 100% is going to feel vulnerable for sure, right? You're probably thinking like you have these fears that everybody has that looks confident, right? But they're still probably thinking about like, what if they judge me, right? What if I say the wrong thing? What if they don't think I know enough, right? I get it. Confidence isn't something that most of us wake up and it's magically there, right? It's something that we build. It's kind of a muscle that you'll build that becomes easier. You strengthen that muscle when you become more clear, when you take more action, right? And you see what actually works for you. It can be trial and error, but that's exactly why we created this space, not to turn you, into a robotic social media, emoji, but to help you show up with clarity, clearly, and with authenticity, right? In a way that feels aligned to you in your voice, right? We help you simplify your message and define the way that you want your brand to feel. And that in itself is going to give you confidence, right? Those things are going to be small steps that are going to lead to massive shifts, right? So you don't have to be confident to start, but you will feel more confident by the time you finish. I promise you that. Okay. I don't see any other questions at the moment. So if you have questions that we didn't answer, make sure that you reach out to Michelle and I, and we will make sure that they get answered. So, all right. So let's wrap this up. So I know that, we want to first obviously thank you for coming. You've spent the last 45 minutes to an hour hearing, I hope, what you have probably felt for a long time, that the old way of building a business, the formulas, the noise, the burnout, masked as success, it's not working for you, and you wonder why. The reason is it wasn't designed for you, right? You don't need more information. You need a new foundation, one that starts with you, your story, your voice, your energy, your values. And that's exactly what we're doing in Her Business, Her Way. That's exactly what it's about. It's your chance to finally rewrite the rules on your terms and build something that feels sustainable, peaceful, it feels natural, it feels true to you, and also profitable, right? Now, don't forget that the first 8 women join, get a one-on-one coaching session with us. That's your chance to sit down and really get clear and create your next move with confidence. So enrollment is open. And again, we would be honored to walk beside you as you take this next step to rewrite the rules, your rules. So we would love to do that together. So thank you, ladies, and we will see you inside of Her Business, Her Way.
Thanks, everyone.